When I read the script, I was just immediately hooked and thrilled at the opportunity to be a part of it. And super grateful to be allowed to be an executive producer as well. At this point in my life, I just get really excited about the opportunity to sort of have a seat at the table, if you will. Well, it was actually one of those sort of graceful, blessed moments when this project came to me right at a time in my life where I was really looking for a project just like this. So it was, so fortuitous and exciting to me to get to be a part of it, and certainly to get to have a voice in an executive producer fashion and participate in the collaborative process of it all. And then I'm just a huge Kristen Hanna fan, and the book is so beautiful. It's just the exact kind of story that I was really looking to try to tell.
This script came to me sort of it just felt like grace, because it was that time, this sort of point in my life where I was really looking for a story like this to tell, to be a part of. And I knew it was familiar. And so I went out and I got the book, and I had read the book, because as I reread it, I realized it was very familiar. But it's just the most beautiful story of friendship. I don't know, it felt really poignant and relatable and honest and fun. All those decades, it's really fun.
I find her so fascinating and such an interesting study in sort of female power. She just really knows who she is, knows what she wants, and doesn't really let anything stop her. And it can be such a strength at times, but it can also be her biggest weakness. And she has a tendency to sort of steamroll Kate into doing what she wants, into feeling the way she feels about things. And, it's a real lesson for Tully to learn to, on occasion, tamp that down so that she can be there for Kate, and then, without making it about her. This is the most amount of sex scenes I've ever done for anything. And there were days where I had 3 different sex scenes with 3 different guys. It was, but I kind of felt like this, if I'm going to do this, and I don't, and have never done any real nudity, and I don't plan to, but I allowed more of me to be seen than I typically do, which is nerve-wracking in your 40s. And I felt like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then this is the group I want to do this with. I had for that particular episode, I had a female director who, walked me through the whole thing, and I had enough of a voice. Now I feel like I have more of a voice at 40 than I did at 20. And I could say what I was or wasn't comfortable with, and I could ask to see the footage, and I could have a say. And if I felt like I didn't want it to air, and that's how everyone was treated. And, Sarah and I were so supported. There were so many underwear scenes. There were so many scenes where we were really vulnerable. And Maggie was like, our showrunner was just like, whatever you want to do, it's fine with me, whatever you're comfortable in. If you'd rather be in sweats and a t-shirt, do that. Like, there was, it was so left up to us to, use our instincts and our discretion that was huge. And things have changed a lot, and I am incredibly grateful for that. But we had a intimacy consultant for that really difficult and complicated scene with the young Tully. And I just felt such a sense of relief that she was being taken care of, that somebody was there just to simply make sure she felt comfortable, safe, and protected, because it is intense. You forget how intense it is to ask a young girl to act something like that out. I think in this, yes. I think that if Kate had the same kind of ambition and all of that Tully is, I think they would clash. I don't think that it would be competitive versus loving. And, but I think that their attraction to each other is more just about, well, for Tully, I think it's more about that she just can sense instantly as a 14-year-old girl upon meeting Kate for the first time that this is a very good person, somebody that she can trust and count on. And there isn't any of that sort of sticky kind of mean girl middle school thing happening. She's just an open book and an open heart, and it's just what Tully needs with such an unstable and tumultuous family life. I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I mean, I played a jealous, vengeful, killing ex-wife. I don't know. I feel like almost all of my characters are so neurotic. I wouldn't want to hang out with them. My dream of next season would be that the two of them team up and create their like a new show for Tully that Kate produces, and that there's like this great sort of more authentic version of Tully because Kate is helping her do something even more powerful and more meaningful. Totally. I mean, it was, for me, sometimes I was like completely confused about where I was in the timeline, and not necessarily the decade, but more like, wait, what part of the decade is this? You know, what's happened already and what's about to happen, you know? So it was fun. It was a really fun challenge in that way. And having to keep myself abreast of what was, you know, where I was. It was such an incredible blessing to get to do this with Sarah, because you don't ever know. And like any work experience for anybody in the workforce, you don't know if you're going to really connect with the people that you're spending all day with and you're working with or not. And you might respect them and like them just fine, but to really love them is huge. And in this particular situation, just giant, because yeah, I don't know that this kind of chemistry could be easily faked. It would have been a lot harder, a lot more taxing, and maybe certainly not as fun, and certainly not, you know, I wouldn't be as stoked to like want to go back and do another season. So this was huge, and Sarah's presence and Sarah's spirit just instantly put me right at ease and made me realize like, oh, this is a girl that I can trust and I can be myself around, and I know is got a really good heart. She's just a really good person with a good heart, and grounded and kind and decent. And we do have a lot in common, and we're moms, and we could talk about our, you know, momming and our struggles and our triumphs. And Sarah's hilarious, which is huge for me too. And because I love to laugh, and she keeps the spirits on set up with these all the time stories and reenactments, and her Running Man.
Yeah, we need to use some CGI. I think, you know, I feel good about myself at 42, but I know I don't look 22. And we were starting with the face tapes and stuff, like trying to make ourselves, and I said, well, this doesn't make us look younger. It looks like we've had very bad faces and can't close our mouth. So we've had to kind of move more into the digital realm of softening.
I think the unpredictability would be really hard for me if I were a journalist, like having to instantly go, oh my gosh, there's a big story. We have to prep and get out there and get it right now. That would, I don't know if I could like function under that kind of pressure really well. But I think my favorite part would be just, I love that they all collaborate the way that they do, and that they all are such a big part of breaking a story or telling the news, and the camaraderie of that seems really fun. I think both of these women, I think this is a really interesting aspect of the show that's sort of like a bit of an undercurrent there, is that both women are dealing with these sort of childhood experiences that have kind of shaped them as adults. And even, you know, I even kind of see in Kate and Johnny's marriage, Kate's fear of becoming her mother in a way, where she gives up kind of who she is to be nothing but a wife and a mother, and make that the priority instead of including herself as a priority. And Tully, I mean, I'm very interested to see if we hopefully have a second season. Will she find a way to sort of break the emotional patterns that started at such a young age that I don't even think totally know she's doing it. These walls and being so, mistrusting. The only real person that she is truly herself with is Kate. And she has definitely put all her eggs into one basket. She can't seem to allow vulnerability because of her childhood with Cloud. And, you want to see her let some of it go so that she can have the life she deserves, and have a great love instead of pushing it away. I started so young, and there was no one in my family, no one had anything to do with the entertainment industry. So it was sort of like a very strange fluke, quite frankly. But then as I, started to get older and kind of watch more and more and more and consume more and more entertainment in that way, film and television, I fell in love with the Julia Roberts and the Sandra Bullocks and the Meg Ryans and those movies that just made me dream. And I was young, so romance and all of that felt very fancy. And now as a 42-year-old actress, I look to the like Emma Thompsons and certainly always Meryl Streep, but she's kind of like over there. So is Emma Thompson, quite frankly. Right. But it's good to have dreams. So I just think that the friendships that I formed in those sort of really formative years as a 12, 13, 14-year-old up until through high school, there's something so safe about those friendships. I just feel, I guess I feel like they see the light in me no matter what, even on a bad day, even on a cranky day, and that they love me anyway. And it's such a relief to have those relationships. And I feel obviously the same about them. I honestly, my girlfriends and I do that Marco Polo app. So we do that. I haven't checked it in a while, though. I probably have like a ton of videos to watch. And then we have like a text chain among the 6 of us that just, gets a lot of action right now. But we're all moms. We're all trying to deal with this with children at home. Mm-hmm. And so we can't pester each other because we are all completely overwhelmed. But there are those nights where I had one, I don't know, about a month ago where Josh, for the first time since the pandemic, went out of town, and my best friend's husband went out of town. And we were like, we need a girl chat. Too sweet. So deeply. And I think that, I always find it really fascinating that a lot of the projects, sorry, my kids just came home. The dogs are going nuts. I apologize. A lot of the projects that have come to me throughout my life have been perfectly suited to what I'm actually going through in my life at that time. And this is another one of those instances where not only was I looking for a project like this, a story like this to tell, just a really human, relatable story, but I had probably only a year or two earlier reconnected with a lot of my girlfriends from middle school and high school. We had in our 20s kind of drifted and gone our own ways, and a lot of them got married and started families, and I went to LA and started really hustling and trying to make my career happen. And I'd say about 36 we reconnected, and I realized, my God, I had missed you so deeply. And it was such a relief to be back in that embrace of old friendship. And this story was like, well, I know how this feels. I get Tully and Kate, because I know how incredibly valuable a relationship like that is, and how it can make you a better person, and how it can help you realize when you're not being such a great person. I say that my girlfriends are incredibly supportive. So although they're not like, wow, can we come to set? And they're more like, Katie, I watched it. Great job. You know, it's so nice. My sister, like your family, Sarah's just like, I'm like, hey, do you want to come to this, you know, my film premiere with me? And she's like, not really. I think I just want to hang out at home tonight. I'm like, that is such a great choice, Sarah. And I am totally going to start doing that. I remember how good that song makes me feel. What would be my pandemic song of the moment? I have been listening to a ton of Maggie Rogers. Do you know who that is? She's like an indie singer songwriter. She's got this beautiful voice. And Leon Bridges. That's who I've been listening to. It's really just like, that's the biggest thing that we're going through in this house right now is a 12-year-old daughter who, you know, it's one that, and just trying, like Sarah said, my instinct is to protect her from her feelings getting hurt or being ostracized or left out or any of those things. Cause I remember it so deeply and it was so wounding. Like it took me like 15 years to start to really let it go. Like it was kind of pathetic, quite frankly, but I just wanted so badly to protect her from it. And then like Sarah, I realized that doesn't help. That doesn't help her grow. It doesn't help her learn. It doesn't help her choose better friends. And it doesn't help her empathy. So I'm trying to take a step back, but it is really hard just to ensure that your kids are surrounded by the people like that are going to lift them up and support them and applaud them and, you know, help them be the best version of themselves. That's all I want for them at this stage, because it's such an influential stage. But